Hey, listen, Fallon, I usually work alone. I didn't realize there'd be other operatives, investigators on this case.
I'm not going to mince words. There has been an incident. One of our history professors, Charles Leiter, passed away very suddenly.
Precisely how was he killed? Or how did he die?
The man had a heart attack. Don't you read the papers?
Well, hey, you, Duckworth, what's this with the mask?
I could remove it if you'd prefer, but I warn you, I am missing the greater part of my face.
There are some papers, the Arkham Witch Trial papers.
Your description of Dr. Roach, you were concerned that he may have some interests that make him biased in some way?
The papers are missing.
Roach was after Leiter's job. He thought he should have been the head of the department and not Leidy. I tell you, the guy never shut up about it.
I think we got a lot of questions for Miss Court.
I know that you're still upset. This perhaps sudden death?
It was a shock, yes.
You found the doctor, didn't you, miss?
Yes, I did. I haven't really had chance to think about it much, and it was unpleasant.
A broken mirror, that's bad luck.
The double is a fascinating thing, is it not? Doppelganger.
And as you stare into yourself, perhaps, there is a face, and the face has no eyes, and you recognise it probably as Dr. Leiter, and then he takes a step forwards, and maybe that's when you turn, and indeed, there is no one there.
The Apocalypse Players present Crimson Letters. A Call of Cthulhu 7th edition scenario by Alan Bligh. Starring Joseph Chance as Dr. Jonas Steinweg, Danann McAleer as Professor Duckworth, Dan Wheeler as Kirk Sleep, P.I. With our special guests, Doug McAndrew as Dr. Althea Montrose and Mike Perceval-Maxwell as P.J. Mahoney. The keeper of arcane lore is Dominic Allen. Chapter 2, The Hurly, Burly.
I think involuntarily I say, Geist? Is it ein Geist? In C, you say?
Yes, look, here.
Dr. Montrose, stay where you are. Do you feel anything strange? Perhaps the back of your neck is the hairs are rising, or
I dare say I do not. No,
nothing. You feel nothing unusual about this moment in terms of synchronicity, in terms of the nature of random acts suddenly becoming very potent with the meaning of something that is beyond now.
Unusual there are files in this cabinet which I would expect to be here, which are not. But beyond that, Doctor, I'm really not sure what you're driving at.
No, perhaps.
Can you give me a sanity roll?
I think.
I'm waiting for that.
And remarkably, I passed it. I mean,
oh, good.
Yeah, he's got quite a good.
I think you still lose 1 point.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Seems reasonable.
Yes. So, I mean, his experience after falling off the horse, Dom, did not involve. Obviously, it involved the horse, which is terrifying to him. But it mostly involved the concept of sort of space and time and landscape. So to see a figure actually that would be truly terrifying and new ground for him. But I think he does have the the soundness of mind to take a piece of the molten glass metal, but he doesn't actually. I think the sand loss has sort of stunned him into silence, and I think he goes to sit in the chair.
Doctor, are you quite all right?
I think perhaps I've just taken a little. And he gets his tin out and he dabs his finger in again.
Yes, take some of your cocaine there. I'm sure that'll make you feel better.
At this point, I might just cut over to. Let's cut into the next room with PJ and Amelia. What's been going on in there?
PJ's just kind of chatting to her and saying, "Oh yes, my youngest, he's doing well. And just now he's got his own business, and have I shown you a photograph of his kids? No." He just takes out his wallet. There's hundreds of photographs in it. This is Nora. She's the youngest. She's only 3 now. She's a little sweetheart. She's but she's going to be a heartbreaker.
She's just still packing boxes.
Come. So tell me. Sit down and tell me what exactly. If it's not too difficult, if it's not too hard for you, because I realize it must have been a kind of a traumatic experience for you. What happened exactly when you found the good doctor?
Well, of course he was lying on the floor in the middle of the office.
Oh, yeah.
And he, the strange thing about it was that when I got here, the door was locked, you see.
Locked? Locked? What time would that have been? Was that in the morning?
It was first thing in the morning. And I don't have a key, but he always gets here before I do. So I knew something was wrong. And then it wasn't until I went and got one of the porters to come and open the door, and he had to force the lock. And that's when we found him. He must have locked himself in, and then...
Mm-hmm. Was the key in the door on the inside then?
No, it was not.
So the porter was with you when you found the good doctor, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that at least you had somebody with you. I'm glad to hear. So you say he was on the floor. Was he holding on to anything?
No. He was lying on his back, in the center of the room. But there was something strange about his face.
Oh, no.
Sort of turns away.
It's all right, my dear. I know it's hard, but sometimes it's good to get these things, get these things off your chest. A problem shared, as they say, is a problem 2 people have.
Yes, I think that's what they say. Well, anyway, I was disturbed, I suppose. I've never seen a corpse before, and his face was contorted in agony, frozen.
Yes, I hear a heart attack will do that. It can be quite a traumatic experience, but he's in a better place now, my dear. He's passed on to a better place, so you can.
And the eyes were awful.
In what way do you mean awful?
As if they had... I don't know. They looked like scorched bulbs.
He had burnt his face, you mean?
No.
I think I'd like to make a psychology check here just to see if there's anything beyond the shock and trauma of the event that's going on here. Ooh, that is an hard success.
You get the impression... Well, she's definitely traumatized by what she saw, and she's obviously held it right down. You get the impression that maybe she isn't completely convinced that that's normal for a heart attack.
Mm-hmm. Well, my dear, I'm sure that he's with the doctor now, so I'm sure that everything will be taken care of in that respect, and you really don't need to worry about that. It's in the hands of the professionals now.
Yes, but it's the work that's left that really worries me. There was so much good work to do, and...
You were working with him on something?
Yes, I was assisting him on the Hobhouse papers.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yes. And What was that like? Was that interesting work?
The most interesting work I've ever done. So important. The story of the Arkham witch trials. It's a document that, remarkable. And I can't think of anyone more qualified than Dr. Leiter. I cannot think of anyone who can bring the same intellectual rigor that he could.
Well, I'm sure that Dr. Roach, he's a very learned man, and I understand he's taking on the position here. I believe this will be his office now.
Yes, it will. Dr. Roach he's a distinctly average academic. He's better suited to teaching than research.
I see. I'm not an academic myself, as you know. I don't know from these witch trial papers. I wouldn't know a witch trial if you slapped me in the face. But what was it that was so important and special about these papers? It sounds like they were real big news.
Yes, there is nothing else like them. They are letters that detail trial extracts, sworn testimonies. But more than that, there are illustrated pages of geometric or alchemical formulae, diagrams.
I'm sorry, you've lost me. Sorry, what? Al who?
Do you know the story of Keziah Mason, Mr. Mahoney?
Keziah Mason. Oh, now. I'm sure that name does ring a bell. Is he the butcher on 4th and Wellington?
No, Mr. Mahoney. She was convicted of witchcraft in Arkham a long time ago, and the Hobhouse papers are one of the few documents that make clear what her life was like. She's an infamous, I suppose, local celebrity who we know next to nothing about until these documents came along.
Oh, I see. That does sound real important. And
all that work is wasted now, and people like Harlan Roach will come along and take the credit.
Well, wasted? Wait, how do you mean wasted?
Well, Leiter can't complete the work, and now the papers are missing.
Was he working on the papers when he passed?
Yes, day and night. He'd keep them with him all the time. He'd take them home. He never stopped working on them.
But were they not with him, when you and the porter were in the room?
No. He was just found right there in the middle of the room, and the only thing around him was, well, there was a lot of money. I think he must have been taking it out of his desk, and then it hit him.
Money, you say? Why would he have been taking money out of his desk?
I guess he must have kept some there.
How much kind of money would you say? $20, $100, more than that?
I suppose it must have been about $1,000.
$1,000? Well, that's a lot of money to keep in your desk, isn't it?
I suppose so.
And there was no sign of these papers he was working on?
No. At that moment, you hear the guy who's been doing the name on the door. He goes, Oh, what now? And as Dr. Montrose and Dr. Steinweg see, a slightly dumpy, late middle-aged man in a kind of very dark, sort of charcoal three-piece suit barges into the room, and he says, "What's going on? Why is this not packed up yet? I want to move in already."
Professor Roach.
Yeah. That's definitely Roach, isn't it? Never has an NPC made himself so evident.
Heavily foreshadowed.
Coming in with waving a flag saying, "I'm Harlan Roach." It's beautiful.
It's got to be him. He's the killer.
And on that note, I might cut over to the morgue.
To the morgue.
To the morgue. With our Victorian superheroes Duckworth and Sleep.
As we walk towards the morgue, I say, Duckworth.
You catch up with me as I'm halfway across the green, I imagine.
Yeah.
I'm moving at a slow pace.
Not even striding, he's just sort of floating like that thing in the movies.
Puffing on a camel and swigging from my hip flask. So jogging to keep up, but I get there. Hey, Duckworth.
Mr. Sleep.
You know, I got an idea about how we might approach this, but tell me,
yes?
There isn't a chance that this Dr. Wheatcroft might recognize you as there. I realize you're a fairly recognizable fellow, but
I'd say Dr. Wheatcroft would recognize me instantly. Yes.
That's maybe unfortunate, but I think we can work with it. I got an idea that maybe I want to get us alone with the body. So if you don't mind letting me do a bit of the talking to start with, see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, then
yes. Well, if your plan doesn't work out, then of course I can just ask as a fellow of the university, and I'm sure he'll allow us to see it. But if you'd like this,
sure, that's a possibility. But I prefer to do things by the book, and by the book I mean not by the book. You know what I mean?
I see. I turn to you briefly and just say, you've never backed down from a physical confrontation, have you? Not since childhood.
Why would any man back down from?
At which point I just I slowly nod and gesture you forward to lead the way.
As we arrive in the morgue.
The morgue is it's sort of like an attached one-story building that's attached to the sort of the science block, the quite imposing brownstone tower. There is this sort of small building with its own separate access, and as you go through the doors, there's a sort of reception area. There's a small desk with.
I'll wait out here and take the air, shall I?
No, why don't you come in with me, Duckworth? You'll be okay.
Wandering behind him,
and I am. As we walk in, I take off my hat and I take out a handkerchief. And I sort of rub my eyes with it a bit, and I go in and I. Is there anyone on a reception desk, or is it?
Yeah, there's a sort of a young man. He sort of watches you as you come in.
I say, "Excuse me, I'm looking for Dr. John Wheatcroft. I understand he's the coroner here."
Yes. May I ask who's asking?
Sure. It's Leiter. My name's Leiter. Kirk Leiter. My cousin's just been died in some kind of accident. I want to pay my respects.
I immediately peel away from him and go and sit down on one of the chairs in the lobby, so I can pretend I didn't hear that.
I say, my friend, my kind friend, Duckworth here, Professor Duckworth. He told me about it. It's only by chance that I knew he was working here and passed away.
Can you give me a fast talk roll, please?
Happily. Yeah, passed.
Oh, my condolences. Yes, unfortunately, Dr. Leiter, he had a heart attack.
I heard it's such a tragedy. He's so young, but
I'll get Dr. Wheatcroft. He's just finishing off a class right now. One moment, please.
Very kind. I'm not in a state for very long.
I know. Take a seat. He'll be with you in just a moment. And the guy gets up and you hear him walk down what sounds like a long echoing corridor. His shoes kind of squeak on the linoleum floor or whatever they had in the 1920s. And his heels click away. It's eerily quiet in here. I guess it is the morgue. As you wait for a moment. And then slowly the sounds sort of come from very far away. It sounds like you can hear this voice sort of... That's why we call it. And in the key decision-making process, we have to determine the time of death is important, and we need to keep good records. And then suddenly, this man turns around the corner. It sounds like his voice is 8 miles away, and then suddenly he's there. It's like a weird quirk of the corridor. And he's got a small gaggle of students, undergraduates by the looks of them, around him, who are all fastidiously taking notes. And he says, well, that's time, so I shall see you on Tuesday next. Good luck, and remember to turn in those assignments by Thursday. And they sort of file past you, and the receptionist is pointing you out to the man with the mustache.
If I see that out the corner of my eye, I just go, oh, poor Charlie. Hey, Monty, I don't know what I would have done if I was too late. I'm so lucky you were here to show me where to come.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Dr. John Wheatcroft. I understand you're the bereaved.
Excuse me, Mr. Dr. Wheatcroft. That's right. I'm the cousin of Charles Leiter. I hadn't seen him for so long. I'd really like to pay my respects to the body.
Of course.
I mean, I've been pointed out and named now, so I'm just trotting up behind and going with it for the time.
And Dr. Duckworth, you can vouch for this gentleman?
Well, I can, yes.
Monty and I go back a long way. He's the reason why I even knew about poor Charlie.
Yes. Well, I have to tell you that the university are trying to complete an autopsy, so that's probably why you weren't alerted straight away. However, what I would say to you is, Mr. Leiter, the condition of the body, I'm no psychiatrist, as Dr. Duckworth is, but I'm sure he would advise you, the same as me, that the memory of someone is sometimes best left unadulterated. I'm not sure seeing the body is going to be that helpful for you.
Listen, believe me, I need closure. You know, I haven't seen him since we were children together. I need to see him as a man. I don't care how bad the body looks.
If I may, perhaps it's best if I take a look at the body first to make sure it won't be too distressing for you.
We'll go in together, and you can take a look. And I just want to be there in the room.
I'd like to sort of turn to Dr. Wheatcroft and just say,
Yes.
Have you completed the autopsy, or
No, not yet. I've been well, to be perfectly honest, I've been putting it off a little bit, but
and why? Between fellows.
I think maybe this might require either a persuade or a psychology roll, maybe. Maybe a persuade.
Okay. Oh, my persuade's all right, actually. I got a 0-2.
Oh, yeah.
Persuade's 45, so that's a pretty fucking good.
He locks eyes with the bright blue eyes rimmed with dark red flesh.
What happened to him?
Behind the crisp white porcelain.
Oh, dear.
To be honest, Dr. Duckworth, it gives me the creeps. The idea of spending any time in a room with him is disturbing. I know that's a silly thing for a coroner to say, but there's something about it. It gives me the willies.
Not at all, not at all. And remember, I'm always free for a session.
I pull myself together after. Presumably I've been in the corner sobbing.
Yes.
And I say, just Dr. Wheatcroft, I just got to see the body. You just got to let me in the room. I just got to pay my respects. I just need to be there for my mother, who was the sister to his mother. And
Kirk, Kirk. I move over to Kirk and I cradle his head on my shoulder and I say, let me look at him first and make sure he's in the right state for you to see him.
Hey, look, I've seen plenty of bodies in the past. There's nothing I can see that's going to give me a shock. Don't worry
I
about
know,
it.
but what are you trying to achieve here?
I'm trying to achieve us both in that room, looking at the body alone, without the doctor.
Okay. I think Kirk is in a... You're feeling better, aren't you?
I'm feeling as good as I can. I just need
Restored
some closure
yourself.
for this. I need to pay my respects for the sake of my mother and for the sake of his mother.
Dr. Wheatcroft, if it'll make you feel better, I'll take the edge off the thing. I'll go and have a look myself, and I'll let you know. I mean, I'm not a coroner, as you know, but I'm a man of medicine. And if there's anything at all out of the ordinary, I'll let you know any surprises you might find. What I'll find is a normal, sad, human being who is deceased, and I'll inform you of that, and it should help you with your process.
Mothers and sisters?
What?
Wait a minute.
They married brothers.
It's been wisely observed in the chat that potentially your theory is complete cockamamie bullshit.
No, it's true. Sorry.
But it's okay. Pass his fast talk, guys.
What's that about attention to detail, Mr. Private Investigator?
Our mothers married brothers. So our fathers were also brothers, but we're
I am my own nephew.
It's brilliant.
Makes an awful lot of sense. I don't see why anyone would... Really strange lie.
Trust me, in this part of the world,
He's from Bedoycon, Massachusetts. It's a down there.
They're from a little seaside town not far from here.
Close-knit community in Innsmouth.
If your mothers are sisters and your fathers are brothers, then I can imagine how the loss of one of those must count for about 4 of them. By all means, go and have a look at the body.
That's very kind. If I could just have a moment alone with the body, which is what my friend Monty, my old friend Monty, we could have a bill.
Everyone in that room should roll sanity for the sheer Norfolkness of what is going on. It is, and I do come from Norfolk, so I'm allowed to talk about this.
Norfolkosity.
Norfolkosity times 5. Sound loss, instant.
You're a Norfolklorist.
Yep. That is what I am.
So is he letting us
Do you
in?
think we've convinced the fucker?
Yes, I think
The Norfolker.
Yeah, nice.
he guides you down the corridor, and you realise now that the corridor is actually not very well lit. There's only lights every sort of 3 rooms, so there's these sort of patches of shadow that you have to walk through. And he's very tall.
Fuck this.
He sort of stoops slightly. I know, Miskatonic University morgue, you think they'd
Put some lights
on morgue.
Yeah. As long as at no point, you have to promise me at no point will I be trying to limp along this corridor as the lights turn off behind me. That's the one thing I don't want to.
You walk past the door with the nameplate Dr. H. West. Carry on further.
I tell you, all the fuckers that got limps and canes, if anything chases us in this adventure, we're fucked.
I'm
Yeah.
The 3 cane club, isn't it?
Move 7! Move 7, come on!
move 7. I dream of a move 7.
It's just going to be you and me, Montrose. We'll leave the dead wood behind us.
Mike's got movement 4.
What? Movement 4!
Ooh.
What?
Love
7!
it. Love it.
Montrose is the action unit in our...
Whoa!
He may not have a face, but by God, he's got legs.
He's got legs right up to his mask. So he walks you along to the to a room about 3/4 of the way down, and it's called Examination Room 3. And he takes some keys off of his belt, and he unlocks it and opens it. And this is like it's ever so slightly subterranean, this room. So it's got like a barred window quite high up. So you realise you're actually below the ground level here. So as you go in, he flicks a light switch, and the lights go. And in the centre of the room, around the edge, there's equipment, shelves, and a sort of long metal workbench with various bone cutting tools and things like that. There's a locker, a series of lockers along one wall, and the rooms clearly connect to one another because there's other doors at the back that clearly connect to Examination Room 2 and 4 or whatever.
Right.
But in the centre of the room's dominated by this metal table, upon which is a figure with a sheet over it. And it's very cold in here.
1 and 2 were busy, were they, John?
There's teaching going on. We were going to do the autopsy after lunch, so...
I see.
Tell me, Dr. Wheatcroft, before you leave us alone with the body, as you must, so we can pay our respects. Do you have any of his personal effects? Were they left with you, or
they've been taken by the university, I believe. The dean is the person to speak to. about that.
Of course. Fine. Well, thank you so much for your help.
Before you leave, just tell me, and I was sort of taking him aside slightly, and I just want to say, was it anything in specific that caused this queasy feeling in you, or was it just a general feeling?
Let me show you. And he walks over to the table, and he draws back the sheet. And he said, as he walks over actually to do it, he says, "Now I've already issued a death certificate which says massive heart failure." And then he pulls the sheet back, and you see that Leiter's face is this screaming visage of horror. It's like frozen in agony and terror at the moment of death. His lips are pulled back, his hands are tensed up, and what's most disturbing is at first you think his eyes are closed, but as you get closer you realise they're actually open, and the eyes themselves are swollen, whitish grey sort of masses of sort of colourless clotted tissue, very much like burnt out light bulbs or something. Can you give me a sanity roll?
While I'm doing that, I'm just going to put my hand on Kirk's shoulder and say, well, at least he went peacefully.
Oh, shit, me.
Oh dear.
It's your mother's sister's brother's.
Yeah, you don't have the brain capacity.
I rolled a 97. A 20 sanity.
Oops.
So that's a fumble.
Yeah, I know it is.
So you're going to lose the maximum amount.
I also did fail. I just didn't fumble. I was happy not to fumble.
Now, I will tell you this, Dan. Kirk sleeps sanity is 20, which means a fifth of his sanity is 4.
Yeah.
And the loss you're going to lose is 4. 10 minutes on the job.
Yeah. It was always a possibility.
Hey, it was your plan, man. I could have just gone in.
I love it when a plan comes together.
20.
That's got to be a record.
Can I spend some luck or something?
Not on a sanity roll, unfortunately.
So what do you can get out of your bedroom in the mornings with a 20 sanity?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he is quite a character, isn't he? He walks his own path.
Shitted.
He certainly does.
Yeah, the path of the clinically insane.
Now.
So you lose 4 sanity points. Dan, and you also lose a D4. So if you want to roll that, let me know what it is.
Oh, a 1. 1.
Nice.
1. The mask doesn't quiver. However, the mask doesn't slip, is what I should have said. The mask doesn't slip.
I'm sure you will say it in the edit.
Yes. Let's get a clean take on that. The mask doesn't slip. Let's see what happens to Kirk's sleep, Private Eye.
Wouldn't it be funny if he just fell asleep?
Yes.
Of course, Kirk Sleep has a way of dealing with these situations.
Which is?
You know that, right?
Let's find out what it is.
He's got dissociation disorder.
Okay.
So what happens in these situations, I mean, you might tell me different, but when Kirk's been put in these situations before, he just becomes removed from himself and starts narrating himself as if he's in a noir film.
Okay, no, I'll go for that. But what's happening to you then is this. This is the shape of your dissociative fugue.
Okay.
You suddenly find yourself, maybe it's an old job you did. Obviously you don't know that. It feels like you're living it. Where you had to, you got in a bit too deep, got into hot water. You ended up having to deal with some pretty nasty bootleggers in their back room. It was a basement room, not dissimilar to this. And your cover got blown and they opened fire on you. And you just had to get the hell out of there.
Okay.
So what does Montague Duckworth see when you both look down at the body and then look back up?
So Kirk Sleep looks back up and suddenly starts talking in a very calm voice. Says, I looked at the body and then I looked back up and immediately I saw the 3 bootleggers there. God knows how they got in the morgue, but they were there with Tommy guns. I pulled my Colt 45, and he pulls his Colt 45.
I lift up my cane.
And I held it out, and I said, any of you sons of bitches make a move, and I'm going to fill you so full of lead that you're going to be using your dick as a pencil.
Can I tell whether he's looking at me or looking behind me at fictional people? Am I one of the people in his vision, or am I separate to the people he's seeing?
But then a broad comes out of the back room, and she says, hey, what's all the fuss about? Why don't you fellas just sit down and have whiskey, talk it out? I say, it's too late for that, sister. And I fire 2 shots into the ceiling, and I do. I let off 2.
Fuck. Oh, God. Plaster just, like, comes down onto the body.
I lower my Colt back at the biggest guy in the 3 of them, and I say, next shot's gonna be in you. It's gonna be in your belly if you don't let me get out of here without a fuss. And I back towards the door, and I put my hat back on. With one hand, I flick open my pack of Camels, stick one in my mouth, get my lighter and set it up, take a draw, kick the door open with my heel. His gun's still on this fella in the middle. Back out, and I say, I'll be seeing you later.
As you kick the door open, it smacks into Dr. Wheatcroft, who was clearly running to see what the gunfire was about. So he staggers backwards. Oh, what? You can't smoke in here?
I kick it really hard. So will you give me a luck roll to see if I knock him out?
Yeah. or at least incapacitate him temporarily.
No, I failed it.
Yeah, so you just smack him in the face, and he's like, oh, fuck! What are you doing? Did you fire a gun?
Another broad comes out of the bar behind, but it's too late. I didn't see her. I back into her. She's flat on the floor.
Ah!
Skirts around her tits.
What are you doing? Doctor!
Can I try to do a Derren Brown style interruption and just put my hand over his eyes and put him to sleep there? Oh, Christ.
Chaos. What do you do?
I grab the broad. I grab her around the waist.
Get off of me!
Taking out, using her as a human shield.
Get your hands off of me! I've been thinking about it. I don't think your fathers are brothers, and I'm starting to suspect your mothers aren't sisters either.
I'm limping after them, sort of trying to say, Doctor, he's not a well man. Just stay
And see that?
Do not struggle. Do not struggle.
Is this a patient of yours?
As if from a dream, memory comes back to me. The last time I saw a shrink telling me he's not a well man. I say, hey, what the hell does a shrink know about me anyway? He ain't lived half the life I have. I back towards the door, holding a broad around the waist.
Can I hear him narrating all this?
Yes, yeah. He's saying all this out loud.
So I'm gonna, as he backs away to the door, I'm gonna start mimicking his voice and saying, I realized that I'd made a mistake. These people were friends, and they didn't mean me no harm. The broad I'd accidentally hit, she wasn't asking for it. She wasn't one of them in the back room. And the man with the white face coming towards me, I could trust him. It's a risk. What do you want me to do?
This is a reverse psychology roll?
So what, do I roll like psychoanalysis?
I think this would be a psychoanalysis roll, yeah.
Yeah.
To attempt to stop a bout of madness.
I'm going to spend 5 luck, because my psychoanalysis is 56. So if I spend 5 luck, I just pass. That might not be enough, but I'm just going to spend it anyway to get a success.
I think that's fair. So yeah, your tactic somehow he slowly calms down, and Kirk, your surroundings start to become more in line with reality.
My surroundings started to become more in line with reality. As I focused in on this white face in front of me. It's a face I thought I recognized from some time back. Like a mask. This guy looked like some kind of phantom. Like he lived under an opera house or some shit. Rowing himself away on like a canal boat.
Excuse me. What the hell is going on?
And I let go of the broad. I let go of the broad I was holding. She fell to the floor.
Ow!
I looked at her. She wasn't a broad. I looked at my hands.
I am the
I wasn't even holding my gun.
coroner of Miskatonic University.
As he releases the coroner, I want to keep my face turned towards Dan, but I want to turn to him and say, sedatives.
God.
Yes.
Quickly.
Do you want some as well? Says
I'm
Dr.
fine.
Wheatcroft, injecting himself. Yeah, good idea. Yes, he walks over to the... He sort of slowly edges over to the table. He doesn't take his eyes off either of you. And he reaches for some syringes and things. Quickly puts together something and comes back over.
Kirk, how are you feeling, Kirk? You're back in the room. 3, 2, 1. You're back in the room.
I was feeling a lot. I'm feeling much better.
Yes.
Duckworth.
You
Hey,
took a
Duckworth.
shock back there. Yes.
I got a bit of a shock there where I looked. I got a bit of a shock there where I looked at my cousin. I should have listened to you. I should have listened to you, Wheatcroft. It was too much for me. We were too close, and it's been too long. I'm sorry. I should have listened to you. Sorry.
Yes. Well.
Quite all right.
And at that point, can you both give me listen rolls?
Yeah. Oh, I passed. 32 on a 45.
In that case, I'm not going to spend any luck on mine.
My ears were unaffected by my face being torn off. They've still got their curvature.
Yeah, you hear something in the next room. It's like a metal bowl has just hit the floor and someone's caught it really quickly.
By next room, is it one of the operating... one of the...
Yeah, like one of the adjoining rooms.
Right. I'm just going to turn to... can I just turn to the doctor and see how he's... Does he react to that noise?
He possibly hasn't heard it.
Okay. I'm just going to say, fetch a sedative. He'll be fine now.
He's sort of staring at Kirk.
He'll be fine.
He offers you a sedative.
He's given me a syringe of it, has he?
Yeah.
We'll go up to Kirk and say, how are you feeling? Are you back with us?
Am I? Keeper?
Yeah. The bout of madness has faded. Although you are now indefinitely insane, so...
That's great news, isn't it? That's great news, everyone.
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning on day one.
Yeah. Stay here. Breathe deeply. I'm going to just go and look at the body on my own and see if there's anything we missed. You need to keep breathing.
Sounds like a fine idea to me. I'm just going to sit here and smoke my way through this pack of Camels and finish my hip flask.
Okay, as I was talking, I tried to mask the fact that I wasn't using the injection on him to the doctor, so I can just pocket it. And then sort of turn to the doctor and nod. Is that a stealth roll?
It would be a sleight of hand roll,
Something.
I think.
Sleight of hand.
But you could have a bonus die, I think, because you've done some great... I mean, Kirk Sleep has done some amazing... what's the word? Deception. By shooting the ceiling.
I'm going to spend some more luck. I'm going to spend 3 luck, because my sleight of hand's 20. So,
Nice.
You have
fuck
that.
it. I might not be in town for long, you know. So I put the sedative in my pocket and I turn and I sort of nod to the doctor as if I've injected him, and I've just sort of calmed Kirk down and gone, "It's okay." I want to sort of walk back through and just say to the doctor, "I'll have a look at the body now. He'll be fine." And I want to go back towards the room in which the body is.
Oh, well, I assumed you were...
Not the one we heard the clang from.
Yeah, I assumed you're in that room anyway. But,
Oh, sorry. Okay,
or like in the door.
my mental geography's all over the place.
He walks up next to you as you're sort of looking at the body.
Yeah.
And he says, "All right, what's really going on?"
What do I see? Apart from the eyes, is there anything pulling the sheet back? Is there any other markings on the body? Are there any other, indentations or patterns or scars? Or
Give
is
me
he
a,
look emaciated? Is he is there anything there to glean?
give me a have you got medicine, haven't you?
I've got pretty
Biology?
good medicine. Yeah.
Yeah, give me a medicine.
Yeah. Cool. I'm going to push it. I'm rolling really badly, but my medicine's not bad. So I want to push it, and I want to push it by... I sort of say to him, have you got a magnifying glass, anything like that? I just want to have a close look here. A close look at his...
Of course. One moment. And he steps out the room.
Oh, okay.
Give me that roll.
Okay. Yes. Yes. 30. What am I rolling? Medicine. Yes. Okay. I passed by 1.
So yeah, he comes back with the magnifying glass, and he says, "Try this."
Thank you.
And you sort of take a moment to have a look at the external of his body, and what you notice is that, and looking at his mouth and stuff, but especially his skin and his veins and his arteries, they look slightly blackened, almost like he's been burned on the inside, or something like that has happened, like some strange sort of biochemical, or like he's been electrocuted, but in a really intense way.
Right. Okay. Fuck. But it's only along vein lines. It's not like there's any patterns elsewhere. It's like he's just burned up from the inside. Looks like this cooking effect from the inside. Yeah. Okay.
Like every vein has burst to some degree.
Yeah. Okay. I turn back to him and sort of say, well, I can certainly see why you found it unnerving to study.
Yes.
Believe me, I'm sure it's just, well, you'll know better than myself. Looks like perhaps poison or some sort of allergic reaction to something. I couldn't say for sure, but you're the expert. There wasn't anything on him when you brought the body in, was there?
No. Well, except his clothes.
I see. What were you going to suggest?
We're going to perform the autopsy. We were going to do it after lunch, but now I think we need to... he looks at the ceiling. Possibly move rooms. So, we will perhaps do it later tonight or tomorrow. Probably tonight.
Excellent.
If you would like to come along after that, I maybe can give you a bit more information.
Excellent.
Is this something to do with the university? Is the dean sent you? Is that...
Well, between you and I, when he says the dean, can I do a psychology roll on him?
Yeah.
To see what he thinks of the dean?
Yeah.
Sorry, I know it's probably worthless, but it might be worth a go. I didn't pass, but...
Well, he can say, if that's what it's about, then obviously I'd like to get this resolved as quickly as possible. The sooner this person is cremated, the better. Especially if he's got more relatives.
I see. Well, yes, in that case, I'll be there. Let me know. What time are you aiming for?
Speak to Marion on the way out. He'll tell you.
Yes. I see. Don't start without me.
While this conversation is going on,
yes,
I'm presumably still by the door to this examination room. Mm-hmm. I might just sort of nip out into the corridor and maybe go along to the next room and put my ear to the door.
Okay, yeah. Give me a listen roll.
Because I didn't hear anything to make me want to go in there, but...
I did, but I just kind of thought, just a student dropping something.
I failed my listen roll. I think maybe I look around for a glass or something that I can put to the door to have a better listen. So I'm going to push it.
It's one of those chemical beakers.
Yeah, that'll do. Yes, I pass.
Yeah, all right. You put your
my beaker.
You put your beaker to the door, and you hear it's like a shuffling noise, and then it stops. You even hear. I tell you what. You even hear a very slow, very soft, and then a little soft click.
I flick open my Colt to check how many rounds I got left, because I was kind of out of it when I fired it into the ceiling.
Yeah, you fired.
Discover I got 4 rounds left. Click it shut and put my hand on the handle and slowly turn it to see whether the door will open.
It is locked.
Well, in that case, I get out my lockpicks.
All right.
And I attempt to pick the lock.
Give us a locksmithing roll.
Oh, I spend 1 point of luck and I pass it.
It clicks, and you step into a pitch dark room.
Oh, fuck.
You are so mad.
I'm going to cut back over to the office where this man has just barged in, and he's sort of saying, "What's going on? When are you getting out of here? Who are these people? What's going on?"
Doctor, Professor, you don't want to pay any mind to us. We're just here at the Dean's behest. That's all. I'm just having a word with. Did you know that young Miss Court? She was quite put out by. I'm surprised you haven't given her the morning off. To be honest, she's quite beside herself.
Morning off? She doesn't work for me.
Well, I mean...
What's this about the Dean? What do you mean the Dean's got you here?
Well, you know how the Dean is, Professor. You know he's here. I see you've got...
Why are you in charge? You're a security guard.
I'm not. And you know you've got it all wrong. You've got it all wrong.
What's this German doing here? And her, she's a librarian, and he's in the psychology department. I know things. I'm not stupid.
Well,
I've been cut out, haven't I?
I'm sure the Dean will clear everything up. But why? Oh, I tell you what, Professor. Why don't you and I will go and take a trip down, and we'll speak to the Dean, and I'm sure he can clear everything up for you, and he'll put your mind at rest about everything. Yes.
Dr. Roach, Mr. P.J. Mahoney, forgive me for interrupting. Yes, I am German, that is correct, but I am also a doctor of psychology and a visiting professor here at your university. I think it is perfectly acceptable that I would come to visit Dr. Leiter's rooms after his untimely death. Have you met the good Dr. Montrose, a truly expert librarian from Glasgow?
Yes, I think we may have been introduced briefly. You were on your way somewhere at the time, Professor. It just seemed very busy.
I don't remember.
We were. No, indeed, but I am well acquainted with the field of work that your late colleague was interested in. The Dean has directed me to have a look.
But you don't even... You're on an exchange. You're not part of this university. This should be a Miskatonic University, and it should be history department. And that's me.
Is it really so hard for you to work out why they would ask more independent parties in the presence of a man who knows his way around the university? Is it really so hard for you to work this out?
Are you saying that I'm a suspect?
I'm saying that you might be stupid. And that would not be fitting for your position in the university. And you will now deny this, yes? You're not a stupid man.
Stupid? I'm not stupid. Exactly. I am a senior lecturer in the history department.
But let us sit down and talk about this like intellectual people, not like stupid people.
How dare you? I'm not going to be standing here and be insulted by someone who lost a war.
I think you'll find that I was discharged on medical grounds.
I may be an expert on colonial history, but I also know a few things in the recent past.
Gentlemen.
No, PJ, please. This is important for him. He's exercising his catharsis. This is very healthy. No, of course. My people lost the war because it was on the wrong footing, but we are not here to discuss that matter. Dr. Leiter died, and we are here to pay respects and to look at the work.
Well, his work isn't here. It's missing, isn't it?
My God. Please, could you tell me about your mother? Because I am fascinated by this is so obsessively aggressive of you. Okay, what we should do is, and we don't have time to talk about that now, I understand that, but what we should do is we should try to establish with the good Dr. Montrose, do you personally have concerns about the papers? I think you must have papers. You must have concerns about the papers? They are not here, you know this.
They would be here if they'd been entrusted to me in the first
That may be correct, but that is the past. Synchronicity is not to be dealt with in that manner. Synchronicity is to be dealt with in the matter of going forwards. And to go forwards, Dr. Montrose is your answer. She is an expert librarian. Is this not correct, Dr. Montrose?
Yes.
That's all. So we have the logical conclusion of how we will solve your problem. We are now a team, the four of us, and Miss Court. Miss Court, come in here. Come in here. And he goes over to her and he puts his arm around her, slightly too aggressively. But yeah, now we are a team. We're 5 people. This is the Quincunx of Thomas Brown, you know? So then we have a Quincunx. When you have a Quincunx, you are connecting through the natural and the mathematical into the geometric. I heard the word geometric being used in the other room, Mr. PJ. Is this correct? Geometric signs and symbols are in the work that we wish to study. Let us cohere all of these geometric signs and symbols together. Please, my good doctor.
Are you saying that you want me to help you?
Yes, we will help you. You will help us. This is called mutual benefit. I will hand over to Dr. Montrose now.
Well, if you're sure, Doctor, I don't want to stop you in your stride or anything like that. Perhaps you'd maybe best put that wee box of yours away for now. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I did not realize I still had it out. That's a good idea.
Aye, and there's a wee, if you just, that's it.
Oh, sorry, I missed that bit there. Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Roach, we're merely here to try and ascertain, as far as I can gather from the Dean. The Dean is the whether maybe some clue to be found as to where these papers have ended up. I'm afraid I can't recall coming across them, but I understand these works are most colloquial, but I would appreciate some of your time and expertise, no doubt, to discuss the matters, as the good doctor says, in a civil manner. We are not here to stand in your way.
Well, then, what I will say is that I have searched with the Dean. We've searched this office, and we've searched his private cottage on campus, and I can tell you there is no hide nor hair of those documents. Now, what I do know is that he was a profligate gambler. Why he could be thought of as being the sort of character who could be trusted with these important documents in the first place, knowing what we know about his personal proclivities, is beyond me.
Doctor, may I interrupt you just for a moment? A gambler, you say?
Amelia Court pipes up at this and she says, "Gambler? I've never heard any such story of him being a gambler."
Well, he was.
What, on the horses, you mean? On,
Casinos. I know he went to Atlantic City twice. Twice he's been to Atlantic City. Yes, and you don't go to Atlantic City for the Seaside Mariner.
I can't honestly say I've ever been to Atlantic City, but I hear it's a swell place. Swell place for a vacation.
It's a swell place for vice.
Excuse me a moment.
Well, I'll tell you this, Mr. Mahoney. When he went to Atlantic City the second time, he went away, he booked a whole week away, I think. And when he came back, he was suddenly calling in all of his debts.
Debts, you say?
Oh.
What kind of debts would these have been?
Oh, just anything he could lay his hands on. Suddenly he was remembering $10 I'd borrowed from 3 years ago, things like that.
You think he was, did he seem like he was hard up? He was, perhaps he accrued some debts himself that he was looking to pay back?
I think that's exactly what. I think he'd flushed it all down the pan in Atlantic City.
I see.
If he can't look out after his own money,
why
should he be trusted to look after the assets of the university?
It's a vice for sure. The gambling, yes, indeed. Yes. Many a tale of woe. Many a tale.
Dr. Roach, are you implying that these documents may have had some value? Are you inferring that he used these as some sort of stake? Who may they be valuable to?
I didn't say that.
No, you did not say that.
You can give me a psychology roll if you want.
I really.
I'll join the good doctor on that psychology.
Yeah, the good doctor doesn't really have a view.
Excellent question.
Great shout, though.
Yeah, okay, I'll spend the luck. I'll pass it. It's not a hard luck. I have to spend 2 luck to pass, so it's may as well. It's my best skill, damn it.
He's lying by omission. And there's obviously there's more to it that he knows You get the sense that this isn't a hunch. It's almost like he's conflicted because he'd really like to tell you what he can prove. But something is holding him back. Something's making him. He's perhaps decided this isn't the best time to drop that bombshell. It's something like that. This is a strategic decision.
Yeah. It is the drama. It is the drama happening in this room, he says out loud. So, sometimes the timing is everything. The entrances, the exits.
I was at the theatre once.
Tell us, PJ, tell us. Sit down, tell us.
It was a strange kind of an affair.
Here, let me clear these books.
Women dressed as men, and they were talking in rhymes, and I didn't really understand. My wife took me to see it. She enjoyed it, but I didn't really understand what they were talking about. But it was all very lovely, and there were trees, and there was one chap. There was one chap who came out.
Sounds like every production of a Chekhov play at the National Theatre ever.
Well, it was there were young ladies in their nightgowns, and there was one fellow. One point, they put a donkey's head on him, and he was walking around saying he was a donkey, and they were all making fun of him. And there was some highfalutin folk, and there was all sorts of kind of.
Does that sound like A Midsummer Night's Dream by any chance?
No, I think it was Othello. I think it was. No. You're right. It was a midsummer dream. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, it was a Midsummer Night's Dream.
It was a goddamn nightmare, if you ask me. But there we are.
The subject of dreams and nightmares. Shall we all not study this painting briefly together, my friends? Because you have cohered us into a single moment here. This is true synchronicity. The random becomes the specific.
Dr. Montrose, do you have any idea what Dr. Steinweg is talking about? Because I'm baffled.
No. But it's quite compelling.
Let's study this painting together. We may gain an insight into Dr. Leiter. This is what I'm thinking. We have an expert in his emotional daily life in his court. We have an expert in the analysis of his gambling addiction, in his, dare I use the word rival, and perhaps that is unfair to you, in his equal and his perhaps better. You are an older man and more sophisticated. But let us look at this.
You got all that from the painting on the wall?
Getting that from them standing by me, my dear. Here we have the painting on the wall. What I need to understand is why he would choose this. It's not the standard picture that you would expect in a doctor's office, not of his standing, even of history. You might have a scene of, Napoleon, or perhaps the Rubicon, and something of the classics. But no, we have this fascinating journey into another world.
PJ kind of walks up to the painting on the wall, kind of looks at it for a minute, and then he lifts it back and looks behind it. The wall.
For a start, we must engage. This is physical, it's a pragmatic. Yes, this is very important. Forgive me if I narrate slightly. I've been inspired to narrate somehow. I don't know why.
I just looking to see if there was a safe behind it.
Exactly.
That's all.
There is no safe behind it. But as you're up close, you do read a name. You can see the signature of the artist. It appears to be Cecil Hunter.
Cecil Hunter. Anybody heard of this chap? He done the painting here.
Cecil Hunter.
Is he a local painter? Is it a local artist? I don't know. It doesn't look old, but...
I know who Cecil Hunter is.
Oh, you do?
Yes, he was a student. He was expelled. He was one of Leiter's students, and he got expelled.
Do you remember why?
And can you recall what for, yes?
Indeed, Dr. Montrose.
I think he got caught.
Bad painting.
I beg your pardon?
But terrible painting. Maybe he got expelled for being a terrible painter.
No, I think he got expelled for exposing himself on campus.
Oh.
Good grief.
Sex maniac.
Lowest of the low.
Licentiousness. That's the kind of behavior that Dr. Leiter encouraged in his students. And look at this. What is this? And he walks right up to the painting and reads the inscription. Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 1?
Hey, that's another one by that fellow Willie Shakespeare who did the play that me and the wife went to see. Hey, ain't that a coinky-dink?
Hardly. He's written enough plays.
Can I do some kind of, I don't know, what would that be? Would that be an education check?
Yeah.
One scene one?
Who's heard of this Macbeth? What's that all about?
Oh my god, my education is so high, and Can you spend luck on a stat check?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just to ease the process. I'm burning through luck. I'm going to spend another 1 luck. My god, I'm down to 51.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't a German playwright then, this Shakespeare fella.
Although they often would claim that he was.
Yeah, it's true. You know, in truth, let me correct you there, PJ. Although not a German playwright, perhaps, by birth, I think he speaks to the Germanic mind and the spirit of the German peoples. The true spirit.
Oh, sure, you say so. He ain't speaking to my mind, that's for sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Altair Monrose, but is not Act 1, Scene 1 the confrontation between Macbeth and the witches?
Well, now let me recall my Shakespeare, if I can. Yes, perhaps that's a pass. I made an education check. It is also my best.
Now that I have passed, it is almost as if I remember it in the manner in which a 43-year-old male actor who has played one of the witches would be able to remember it. And I'm pretty sure that this is a confrontation between Macbeth and Banquo and the witches, is it not?
Going to make a roll.
Yes.
And a bargain as well.
When shall we three meet again?
That's exactly what was it, because I just got hard success. When shall we three meet again?
This is it. Come on, do the magic.
In thunder, in rain, or in lightning.
Are you going to be in here all afternoon? Because
wait a minute, I remember this. When we're done with the Hurly boily, when the battles all...
Hoily boily?
The hoily boily.
I love that.
Where the place...
I think that's the episode title, right there. The hoily boily.
The hoily boily. Where's the place? It's on the moor. How we're gonna meet Macbeth. That's for sure.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful recitation.
That's an improvement.
Yeah.
Hey, Macbeth. That's the Scottish play, ain't it?
Now we put the pieces together, right? So now we have Cecil. You say Cecil. I like this pronunciation very much.
I don't know.
Cecil.
That's just the way I say it. That's my guy. Got a cousin, Cecil.
I tell you what you can do as well. You can all give me a spot hidden roll.
I was wanting to take a look at the fireplace actually as well. If I notice that there's perhaps some burnt out bits.
Well, you can use your spot hidden on that.
Mr. Mahoney, it seems we got a little mixed up. I was rifling through a filing cabinet and you were getting the history lesson. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but...
Well, you knows what you knows.
Miss Court, I wonder if you could put together a reading list for me. That would be helpful if you wouldn't mind so much.
Oh, of course. Yes, I can do that.
I'm gonna. So I failed my spot hidden, but I'm going to try and push it. If I notice that there's a sort of ashes in the fireplace, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a poker and poke around it and have a look up poke up the flue as well with the poker.
That's a good pushed roll. That is.
See if I can see.
Yeah.
You got to open yourself up to the possibilities, haven't you?
Yeah, you've really opened the door to a malicious keeper there.
Oh, well, lovely. I got almost exactly the same level of failure as I got the last time.
Great. Okay.
I think there's something stuck up the flue here.
Give it a really good hard shove, you know?
Careful there, Mr. Mahoney.
So, have you ever heard the story, said the rhyme, a flea met a fly in a flue, said the fly let us flee, let us flee, let us fly, so they flew through a flaw in the flue.
Oh dear.
So here's what happens. Did anyone was anyone else doing this during that time?
I've passed quite well, but not a hard. It's a hard, but not an excellent. It's a 14.
Okay. By rustling around in the fireplace, you do dislodge something. A load of soot falls down. You see that papers have been burnt in the fireplace, but they're completely beyond use. And as you rifle around, you come across a matchbook that is more or less intact. And it's a matchbook for a place called Hibbs Roadhouse. And someone has written on it. It says, written on it in lipstick are the words, Coca-Cola with a twist. L. And as you're considering this, you suddenly think you hear something in the chimney.
We got to avoid stuff up here.
Like a whisper.
Oh no.
Patrick! And then this enormous rat falls out of the chimney and like scuttles at you.
X card.
Damn it! Just like hitting it with the poker.
And in fact, it bites you.
Of course it.
And you lose a hit point.
Ow!
Really gets you nasty on the face.
And my face, not my beautiful face. God damn vermin! I told him.
And so that happens to Mike. As for Dr. Steinweg, you're observing this painting a bit closer, and there's something unusual about the painting, because there at the centre, the three witches are they have their hands raised in supplication to some entity, and you realise the witches in question are Patrick, Dr. Montrose, and you.
This was an Apocalypse Players production. For more information about the podcast, go to apocalypseplayers.com. Thanks for listening.